We have arrived. It is the final preseason game for the Chicago Bears tonight. It is Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, and all the starters are playing against each other tonight. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you what I'm watching for, and maybe you might want to watch for it yourself. Welcome back to Bears Yard. It's your boy Vipe. And the first thing I'm going to be watching for in tonight's preseason finale is for clean operations. Now, what do I mean by that? I've talked about many times on this channel, unfortunately, how the Bears have had a lot of pre-snap penalties in training camp and different things like that in practices. Now, luckily, the first team against Buffalo didn't have any, but the second and third teams did have pre-snap penalties in that Buffalo preseason game last weekend. So tonight, I'm looking for clean operations. Basically, I'm looking for no pre-snap penalties or minimal amount of pre-snap penalties. Because again, when you have these pre-snap penalties, they are drive killers, they are momentum killers, and they just put your offense in potentially bad situations when they occur, which is why Ben Johnson has been constantly harping on the offense to cut that crap out. So, can we get clean operations tonight, get the play in, hike the ball with, or get to the line of scrimmage with maybe 15 seconds or more left in the play clock so Caleb can diagnose the defense and figure out where his answers are and what to do before he snaps the ball? All of that good, clean operation stuff that Ben Johnson is going to be looking at, I'm going to be looking at too, and so should you. Number 2, can Caleb Williams keep the good vibes going? Came in there last week against Buffalo, throwing absolute lasers and darts, or as Harrison Grant likes to call them, piss missiles, and didn't make any mistakes. He went 6 for 10, had like, 70-some-odd yards or whatever, had a touchdown. So I want to see, can he keep the good vibes going? Now, obviously, he was doing that against the Bills backup, but tonight he's going against Kansas City starters, and Kansas City is a perennial playoff team, a multiple-time Super Bowl winning team. So this will be a good test for Caleb to see if he is growing and learning in Ben Johnson's offense when he goes against a real live competitive defense tonight. Let's see, can he keep that growth and maturation on a positive trajectory heading into week 1 of this NFL season. Caleb Williams, let's see what you got, baby. Let's see what you got. If you're hyped for tonight's game against the Kansas City Chiefs, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more daily opinionated Bears talk from me here on the yard. Number 3, I'm looking at who gets to start at left tackle. So Ben Johnson has been talking about this left tackle competition, right? But it seems to me that in recent weeks, Braxton Jones has been given the preferential treatment as far as starting with the ones. He started with the ones in last week's game against the Bills. He's been starting with the ones in practice. But they've also talked about the emergence of Theo Benedict and how he's been practicing with the ones too a little bit. But I want to see Theo Benedict start tonight against the Chiefs ones. I don't want to see Theo start against the twos, because if Braxton Jones starts again tonight, there is no competition. It's pretty much over at this point. I think most of us kind of assume that Braxton Jones will be the week 1 starter, but we kept hearing about this competition, right? I want to see the competition. Let Theo compete. So hopefully tonight, Theo Benedict and not Braxton Jones will start against the Kansas City Chiefs first defense, and then we can see what he got. If he falls flat on the face, then you got your data. Just throw Braxton Jones out there anyway. But starting Braxton Jones again for 2 weeks in a row isn't going to give you much information on Theo Benedict against real live competition and things like that. So I want to see Theo tonight, but we'll figure out how that goes when the game time approaches, and we'll see who's out there on the first series with Caleb Williams in the first team offense. Next up, I want to see one of these bottom of the depth chart running backs emerge. Unfortunately, we are dealing with injuries. At least 4 running backs are going to make the roster, right? So you got DeAndre Swift, Roschon Johnson, Travis Homer, which I really don't understand him for that, the fascination with him. But I know he's a special teams maybe, but whatever. Cal Monungai. So those are the 4 that are probably going to be locked to make the team. But then you got a possible 5th running back that could make the team. I think it comes down to Ian Wheeler and Britton Brown. Britton Brown looked really good last week against the Bills. Ian Wheeler looked decent as well. So I want to see if any of these bottom of the depth chart running backs make an impact tonight and make a play for making the 53-man roster. Will it make a difference? I don't know, but they can't hurt their case by balling out tonight. So will one of these bottom of the depth chart running backs emerge tonight against the Kansas City Chiefs? I'm looking out for that. How does the first team defense do against Kansas City starters tonight? Obviously, they were going against Buffalo backups last week and they dominated, but they've also been dominating in joint practice against first team defense. They dominated against the Miami Dolphins first team offense. They dominated against the Bill first team offense, but don't for joint practices. Now we have a game. They haven't had any joint practices with the Chiefs, so this will be the first team defense's first look at the Kansas City first team offense. They first 1,000 times fast, but I want to see if they continue their domination, and I think they will, although they are battling some injuries in the secondary. With now you got Terrell Smith being on IR for the rest of the season. Kyler Gordon's been out. Jalen Johnson's been out, different things like that. But the defense has still been dominating in their absence. So I want to see, can the first team defense continue their good run against a Super Bowl caliber Kansas City Chiefs team with Patrick Mahomes starting at quarterback tonight. Definitely must-see TV for me. The next thing I'm going to be watching for is who playing late into the fourth quarter of the second half of this game. Because if somebody playing late in the second half of this particular game, they're probably not making the team. Let's be honest, yo. Because the main goal of this particular game is to get the most important players healthy to week 1. So you're not going to be playing important players late in this game. This game is basically just to see if the bottom of the depth chart player can, potentially play their way onto the 53 or put good tape out there for other potential teams that might want to sign them. But I'm going to be looking at who's playing late into the second half, because then I know that, the Bears don't really take that person that seriously. They're definitely not making a team, because at that point, it's garbage time. If you're playing late into the fourth quarter of the last preseason game, you're playing in garbage time. You're probably not making a 53, and then you're just putting tape out there for other teams that potentially want to pick you up. But let me know in the comments, what are you watching for tonight? How excited are you for this preseason finale? Caleb Williams, Patrick Mahomes. Drop a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the Yard for more things Chicago Bears. And if you want more Bears thoughts and opinions from me, check out that video right there.